Hey everyone, it's Mikexingchen. Do you believe in reincarnation or past lives? There are, of course, many different perspectives and opinions on this, as well as many religions based entirely around this concept. But whether you believe in reincarnation or not, you have to admit that there are some stories of past lives out there which are pretty remarkable. Even though reincarnation stories can never really be proven true, some of them have elements that are genuinely mind-boggling, especially when the stories come from children too young to have much knowledge of the world. Number 1. Luke Roman. Luke Roman is 5 years old, and apparently he was also Pam Robinson, an African-American Chicago woman who died in a fire at the Paxton Hotel in 1993. Luke started revealing details about his past life to his mom Erica at the age of 2, when he started talking about a mystery woman named Pam. Later, she would ask him directly who Pam was, in which Luke replied, "Well, I was." Luke also said, "Well, I used to be, but I died and I went up to heaven. I saw God, and then eventually God pushed me back down, and I was a baby, and you named me Luke." Erica was baffled because her family didn't know anyone named Pam, and Luke had never been to Chicago. So she investigated further, and sure enough, she found Pam Robinson, who was one of 19 people who died in the 1993 Chicago fire. Number 2. Reincarnated Handwriting. 6-year-old Taranjit Singh was living in a Luna Miana village in India, and since he was 2, Taranjit has been claiming that his real name was actually Satnam Singh and that he was born in a different village in the city of Jalandhar, roughly 60 kilometers or 40 miles away. Taranjit recalled that he was in 9th grade and that his father's name was Jeet Singh. He also recalled that he was killed on September 10, 1992, when a man on a scooter collided with him while he was riding his bike. Taranjit said that the books he was carrying the day of the accident were soaked in his blood, and he had 30 rupees in his wallet. Because Taranjit was so insistent and the story was so detailed, his father Ranjit decided to investigate. A teacher in Jalandhar told Ranjit that a boy named Satnam Singh had indeed died in an accident, and this boy's father was named Jet Singh. Ranjit reached out to Satnam's family, who confirmed the details about the blood-soaked books and the 30 rupees. What's more incredible was that when Taranjit and the members of the Satnam family met face-to-face, Taranjit was able to correctly identify Satnam in photos. Not only that, but Vikram Raj Chauhan, a forensic scientist who read about Taranjit in the newspaper, took samples of Satnam's handwriting from an old notebook and compared them to Taranjit's. Even though Taranjit was very young, the handwriting was a mere match. Number 3. Sam. A little boy referred to in case studies as Sam showed convincing evidence that he is the reincarnation of, get this, his own grandfather. Sam was 18 months old when his father was changing his diaper. That's when Sam told his father, "When I was your age, I used to change your diaper." Upon hearing that, Sam's father crapped his pants. Okay, I don't know if that really happened, but if that was me and my kids said those things, crapping my pants would be the logical response. Anyway, Dr. Jim B. Tucker at the Psychiatric Department of the University of Virginia said that Sam made some startling statements while looking at an old photo album. The story was, when Sam was just 4 years old, his grandfather died. His father brought home an old photo album from his house when he was cleaning it out. To Sam's parents' knowledge, Sam had never seen a photo of his grandfather. When they were looking through the album, Sam pointed to a photo of a car and said, "That's my car." It was his grandfather's first car. Sam's mother was skeptical because, as a Baptist, reincarnation was not something she believed, so she tested him. She showed him a photo of his grandfather as a young boy with other boys of the same age. Sam pointed to his grandfather and said, "There I am." Sam's mother corrected him and said, "No, that's your grandfather." So then Sam replied, "Nope, that's me." Testing it further, Sam's mother asked if he remembered anything from his past life. Sam said someone, quote, "turned my sister into a fish." When asked who, Sam replied, bad men. Turns out the grandfather's sister had been murdered and her corpse was dumped into the San Francisco Bay. Number 4, Parmad Sharma. Parmad Sharma was born in India in 1944. When he reached the age of 2, again the magical age of 2 when kids remember all their past lives, he told his mother that his wife in Moradabad could cook for him, so she did not have to. Moradabad was 145 kilometers or 90 miles away. Between the ages of 3 and 4, Parmad described a business venture called Mohan Brothers, where he had worked with family members selling cookies and water. He also advised his parents against eating curd, and he would not touch it himself. He said that he had become very ill after eating it in his old life. Parmad hated being submerged in a bath and told his parents that he had died in a bathtub. Parmad's parents eventually went to Moradabad to investigate, and it turned out that there was a family by the name of Mehra that had run a soda and cookie shop called Mohan Brothers, and the manager Parmad Mehra had died in 1943 after gorging on curd and suffering from a gastrointestinal illness from which he eventually died. And one of the cures he tried right before his death was medicinal baths. Number 5, the Hollywood extra. 10-year-old Ryan Hemmons believes he was an Hollywood extra turned agent in his past life, and even went on the Today Show to talk about it. His mom Cindy didn't really believe it at first when Ryan came to her and told her that he used to be someone else, but that all changed when they found a photo from the making of Mae West's first movie, Night After Night. The man Ryan pointed to didn't have a single line in the film, however his name was Marty Martin. All of a sudden, there was a real person to compare Ryan's memories with, and according to the Today report, he has correctly recalled 55 different details of Martin's life. Ryan would regularly talk about his 2 sisters, trips to Paris, 5 marriages, and living on a street with the name Rock in it. He also talked about how much he missed an orange soda called True Aid. Dr. Jim Tucker of the University of Virginia, who documents cases of children remembering their past lives, says Ryan's is one of the most powerful. Dr. Tucker investigated what Ryan had said and confirmed that it was all true and not things that could be found on the internet. For example, Martin had a love for orange soda, lived on Roxbury Drive in Beverly Hills, had 2 sisters, and did indeed spend time in Paris with his 5th wife. As for Ryan, he says his prior life still feels real to him, but as time goes, it's kind of fading. Number 6, the fighter pilot. 6 decades ago, a 21-year-old Navy fighter pilot on a mission over the Pacific was shot down by Japanese artillery. His name might have been forgotten if not for 6-year-old James Leininger. From an early age, James would play with nothing else besides planes, but when he was 2, James started having nightmares about planes. When his parents woke him up and asked about what he was dreaming about, he would say, "Airplane crash on fire. Little man can't get out." Over time, James's parents say he revealed extraordinary details about the life of a former fighter pilot. James told them that he flew a Corsair, which would give flat tires all the time, and that his plane had been hit by the Japanese and crashed. James also told his father the name of the boat he took off from, Natoma, and the name of someone he flew with, Jack Larson. After some research, James's father Bruce discovered both the Natoma and Jack Larson were indeed real. The Natoma Bay was a small aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and Larson is living in Arkansas. Bruce said that James told him he had been shot down at Iwo Jima, where his plane sustained a direct hit on the engine. James had also begun signing his crayon drawings James 3. Bruce soon learned that the only pilot from the squadron killed at Iwo Jima was James M. Huston Jr. What's more interesting is that Ralph Clarbor, a rear gunner on a U.S. airplane that flew off the Natoma Bay, says his plane was right next to the one flown by James M. Huston Jr. during a raid near Iwo Jima on March 3, 1945. He said he saw Huston's plane struck by anti-aircraft fire and confirmed that the plane plane was hit straight on, right in the middle of the engine. The Lyingers wrote a letter to Huston's sister, Anne Barron, about James, and now she believes that James is the reincarnation of her brother as well, saying that the child was so convincing in coming up with all the things that there is no way in the world he could know. I mentioned this before, but personally, I do believe in past lives, and many Eastern belief systems say that kids are able to recall past lives more often, and that's because when they were young, their celestial eye or third eye is more open, and this allows them to see into other dimensions and past lives, which would explain why that kid saw dead people. But as they grow older and absorb more of everyday craziness, they are able to see less and less. So if you want to know more about the third eye, check out my video right here. And if you think about it, past lives are so interesting because you could have been literally anyone. You know, if I could remember my past lives, I would start leaving my future self treasures like gold or stock certificates or a Tickle Me Elmo that will be an antique when I reincarnate. And I bet you I wouldn't be the first person who had that idea. So if you see your kids who are maybe around the age of 2 or 3 and they're drawing a treasure map, you know that could be legit. All right, guys, let me know if you ever had memories of something that you feel was maybe you in a previous life, and if you believe in past lives in general. Also, if you want early access to my next video, it's already up and running on Vessel. The link is in my description box below. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Periscope. All that information is also in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. See you later.